Philippine literature is a literature associated with the Philippines from prehistory through its colonial legacies and on to the present. Pre-Hispanic Philippine literature was actually an epic passed on from generation to generation, originally through an oral tradition. However, wealthy families, especially in Mindanao, were able to keep transcribed copies of these epics as family heirloom. One such was the Darangin, an epic of the Maranaos. And for the literary tradition in the Tagalog regions, especially outstanding in the field of oral literature like bugtong or riddle, proverbs, native songs. These oral literatures are always in poetic forms, usually 7-syllabic rhymes, so Asian in forms and perspective. Tagalog literature has been born cradled, nourished, and picked into fruition in the provinces of Central Luzon, Southern Luzon, and the present Metropolitan Manila or the National Capital Region. In Visayas, it has a unique kind of literature that is considered a cradle of the country, because it is the place where Ferdinand Magellan laid sovereign hand on the archipelago from Spain and began the process of colonization and Catholicization that shaped so much of the nation's history. One of the longest epics in the world is the ethno-epic Hinilawod of the ancient people of Sulud in Central Panay, the only epic recorded in the Visayas. As for Luzon literature, I choose the movie entitled Isapan Bahaghari, filmed by Joel Lamangan, writer Eric Ramos. The story is more focused on the efforts of an erring father, Philip Salvador as Duming, to obtain the forgiveness of the family he left behind 20 years ago. His wife Nora Honor as Lumen, and they have 3 kids, namely Zanzu Marodo as Andy, a drug pusher, Joseph Marco, a waiter, and he was wrongly accused of raping his girlfriend. Last is Sania Lopez as Dali, a single mom, and she worked as a bar dancer. Michael De Mesa as Ray, the mutual friend of Duming and Lumen, who acted as a bridge in their love affair as teenagers, and he tries to be the mediator for the reconciliation of Duming to his family. He's the typical baklang martyr, who's been in love with Duming since they were teenagers and continues to love him even now that they are in their 60s. And will do everything to help both Duming and Lumen. The hardened hearts of Lumen and their kids all melt to give way to forgiveness. Duming is very sick and he has a stage 4 cancer. He knows that sooner he will die. That's why he wanted to ask forgiveness from his family and help their children to have a better life. Not only Andy finds a legitimate job as a bus driver, Peter is also released from prison. Sania succeeds in putting up a small lugawan business so she can stop dancing in the bar. At the end of the story, Duming and Lumen died at the same time, both wearing a wedding dress. My opinion about the movie is that it starts with Duming and it ends with him. As a dying father who is trying his best to do to right what is wrong in his life at the last minute, All the melodramatic highlights in the film show him in fear confrontation scenes. This type of movie is in the present situation, like being a gay of prey is an issue for Andy. He doesn't like him at first, and the family situation, Doming and Lumen have a kids without the marriage ceremony. The lesson that I've learned in this movie is that when we have still time and we have the chance, it's not too late for us to ask forgiveness if we have something did wrong in our past life. And if we love someone, we are always make them happy, even if we sacrifice our own happiness. And that's why we call it pagpaparaya. So the next movie from the Visayas that I'm going to share is all about Moro Ami film, which is directed by Marilu Diaz Abaya, and the main character of this movie is Cesar Montano as Fredo. Fredo is a fisherman who has endured more in his share of hardship in life. His wife and child both perished in a boating accident, and today, Fredo approaches each trip to the sea with the angry determination of a man out for a revenge. Fredo commands a crew of young people from poor families as he fakes his rattle trap ship into the ocean in search of fish that live along the reefs, snaring catch with an illegal netting system. Not all of Fredo's youthful sailors are willing to put up with his abusive arrogance. However, even if his father, Dado, played by Pin Medina, and close friend, Butong, played by Jong Hilario, have grown wary of Fredo's tirades. Fredo's body is beginning to betray him as well, and as his crew damage the sea reefs bed in search of fish, no one is certain how much longer he will be able to continue. Maestro Fredo, a tyrant captain, fixates to clone the treasures of the sea, no matter what, in whatever diabolical technique, for as long as he profits. He employs dozens of men, mostly children, in his dangerous expeditions. Conditions aboard the ships are oppressive. Children are often overworked, and his crew is furious with the way they are living. He blames the sea for claiming the lives of his family, and he exacts revenge by plundering its debts. Based on what I've watched on my own understanding, the main goal or purpose of the movie is to show the importance of our natural resources. This movie serves as a precaution for everybody for what will happen if this kind of exercise will happen. The movie gives a good impression of the gruesome child labor practice. Through the truth is more horrible, and the destruction brought forth by the illegal fishing practices. The movie includes a lot of impressive underwater scenes and makes a good piece of drama. The issue of the movie to the present situation is that raise awareness of bigger social and environmental issue faced by the country, including child labor versus realities of everybody's survival, the destruction of marine natural resources. The moral lesson that I've learned in the movie, we must love our natural resources and our children. Revenge is not always good. It always gives us a bad luck in the end. So that is the Visayas movie from it. The movie is happened at in the Bohol Sea. Next is for the Mindanao literature, and it's titled Mindanao. This film is under the direction of Brilliante Mendoza and the writing of Hunsi Alipio. Mindanao tells the story of the Dato family, Dato Palo family. Saima, played by Julian Santos. Malang is played by Alin Dizon, and Isa, Yuna Tangog, as they struggle to face their own battles as a family and as an individual. On one hand, it depicts the struggle of Saima, a mother who is witnessing the suffering of her daughter Isa, whose tumor is gradually pushing her to the grave. On the other hand, it also narrates the story of Malang, a soldier who finds trouble in choosing between his duty and his family. Malang is a tormented man with a major decision to make. He is conflicted on whether to serve and fight for the country or to be by the side of his own daughter. Narrated by Saima, she tells the effect of the Mindanao as a place that is being attacked by two dragons. In connection to the Dato Palo story, the dragons symbolize the obstacles and challenges the characters have to defeat. As indicated by its title, Mindanao derives its setting in the island group located in the southern part of the Philippines. Despite harboring heavy themes such as war, death, and illness, the film was able to celebrate the beautiful side of its setting through its use of various art disciplines, namely folk dance. The film was able to capture the rich culture of traditional Muslim burial rites, religion, music, and Mindanao literature. My opinion about the movie is that the issue that related to the present situation of the movie is that Malang faces racism from his non-Muslim comrades since he is a local from Maguindanao, as is the case for the forces the state army is fighting. And also, the issue here is the lack of support from the government, including the support for medical support for those people who have the cancer, like the cancer of brain tumor and any other type of cancer. The moral lessons that I learned in this movie is that never losing hope in the midst of ongoing battles, literally and figuratively. That's all my report. Thank you.